Well, I think while I'm reading the introduction, all of you could do the exercises that Dr. Arabi has told, because we are heading on to the fourth session of the day. The fourth speaker for the day is Dr. Prashant Vishwanath, Professor, Department of Biochemistry, Director and Coordinator, IQAC, JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research. Completed his graduation from Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College and post-graduation from KMC Manipal. PhD from JSS Academy of Higher Education in the field of diabetes mellitus. He is the convener of the Center for Lifelong Learning for Professional Excellence, completed FAMA Fellow, and also is pursuing his advanced course in medical education. He has been instrumental in establishing the Center of Excellence of Molecular Biology, which has been funded by various governmental bodies, and innumerable laurels to his credit. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chanchala.
Privilege is
After
ours,
an
sir.
energizing session from Dr. Arabi, I think that was much needed. I feel so. We all are hopefully energized to for the next session, which is actually in between your before your lunch pre-lunch session. So it's quite a challenging task for me to keep the interest on, but hopefully I do the justice with my session. And also thanks to Dakshani ma'am, she's made a lot of my job easier by taking the topic on leadership with the women. So with this background, if I'm shall I start sharing my screen?
I would like to introduce your panelist for the day as well,
Yeah,
sir.
please.
In the meantime, we have with us Dr. Deepa S., who has completed her graduation and post-graduation from Bapuji Dental College and Hospital, Davangere. Has been a life member of Association of Maxillofacial Surgeons of India. She's a very enthusiastic person, indeed, academics, be it academics, sports, or cultural activities. Thank you, Dr. Deepa, for being with us today.
Thank you, Chanchala ma'am.
Over to you, Prashant, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chanchala, and thank you, Dr. Deepa, for being here. So I'll just share my screen. So the topic, what I've been assigned is the developing next generation academic leaders. I wanted some reflections, but since this is a smaller session, I will not go into the interaction right now. We will have some interactive activities sometime later during the session. Right? So the objectives for today's session is understand the concepts of leadership. What are the qualities of a leader? Dakshani madam has also shared different types of leadership and some amount of qualities of a leader. So that has made my job quite easier. And self-assessment of personality traits. We will just do some exercise or self-assessment of our own personality. Then understanding the leadership roles played in an academic institutions. Most of us are, all of us in fact, are more academicians. We are into academic institution, and let us understand what kind of leadership roles we play in our institution, and way forward and reflections on leadership. So that is how I've organized the presentation for today. So first is understanding the concepts of leadership. So the word leadership has been derived from the word laden. That is an Anglo-Saxon word, that is laden, which means to go, and is defined as guiding, conducting, proceeding, or being the foremost. Right? So that is about the history of the word leadership, which is derived from the word laden. And leadership has been defined in terms of individual traits, individual leadership behavior, interaction patterns, roles, relationships, role relationships, follower perceptions, influence over followers, influence on task goals, and influence on the organizational culture. And if you go just do a Google search, if what are the definition of leadership, you'll get hundreds of definitions of leadership. What is a leadership? But definitely it would be worthwhile to consider at least 4 or 5 definitions of leadership. The one which I find the most appealing is leadership is process of influencing the activities of an individual within a group in its effort towards goal achievement in given solution. So I find this very appealing because it talks about the process of influencing the activities within a group in its efforts towards goal achievement in given situation. So this actually takes up, it is a situational leadership. So there could be leadership depending on different situations. So you will agree that these are challenging times for all of us, but definitely the leadership takes or influences the activities of an individual within a group towards achievement in a given situation. So this was one of the definitions by Hershey and Blanchard. The other few definitions, which I'll just take you through, is one of the definitions says leadership is the ability to develop a vision that motivates others to move with a passion toward a common goal. So here we are talking about developing a vision, and this vision should motivate others to move with a passion towards a common goal, right? So then one more definition is that leadership is a process of influencing people to accomplish the mission, inspiring their commitment, improving the organization, and leaders influence people to accomplish, inspire, and improve the organization. So this is again more towards an organization, and this is one of the definitions of leadership. And one more definition is leadership is taking everyone in the organization together to achieve a common goal. Right? So this way there are a lot of definitions which are there on this thing. This one is also interesting because it talks about a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So a leader performs the task, understands what are the difficulties in doing that task, and then tells others to follow this thing. So he or she does it and then shows the way to others, right? So that is one definition of leader by John Maxwell. Then another definition is leadership is practiced not so much in words as in attitude and in actions. So why I am taking so many definitions of leadership is, one is to bring out the qualities of leadership, what exactly is leadership, and who becomes a leader, or what type of qualities are there in a leader, right? Then definition also includes the differences between who is a leader and who is a boss, right? So boss usually drives the organization by giving orders, instructions, but leader, like I said, leads the way. So leaders measure success by passion and impact of the people they influence, right? Whereas bosses measure success by a title or rank in the hierarchy. So that is the difference between leaders and bosses. Also, let us look at what is the difference between a leader versus a manager. And leaders add value for any of the tasks that they do, or for any, just right from teaching, learning to any kind of activity that a leader does, they add value to that activity. Whereas managers count value. So how many classes have you taken in the preceding week is a question which a manager might ask. But a leader might ask, how did you impact the teaching, learning in your institution or in your department? So that is the value which a leader considers, whereas managers mainly are numbers, depending on numbers. And leaders have followers. Leader will, they know that, what is required, but managers have subordinates. So leaders consider their colleagues as followers, or they have people who will believe in them. And leaders lead people, whereas manager manages tasks, right? So that is a few of the differences between leader and manager, leader and boss, and what are the different definitions available for leadership, right? Having this understood this kind of concept of leadership, I would just like to take you through what are the pillars of leadership. So when we talk about leadership, we have to inspire people, we have to empower people, and we have to lead the change. We have a shared vision, and all these become the pillars of leadership, right? So just to enlighten on each one of them, a shared vision. Now, if at all we are working on a project, or we are working on some kind of let us take an example of a research project itself. If we are working on a research project, we do have a shared vision. We have formed objectives, we have got deadlines, we have got timelines, we've got some things to achieve, we have got methods to follow. So there is a shared vision between a group of people who are working in a research project. Similarly, leading change. When we are talking about a research project or any kind of this thing, there is some kind of a change that is to be done. It could be, kind of a new method that is being developed, or a new research methodology, or any kind of a thing. So we are leading some kind of a change. And then leadership also empowers people. It's very important to empower people. Without the proper resources, imagine if we would not have had a Zoom license itself, would it have been possible to connect to each other on this kind of a webinar platform? You might have probably got a Google Meet or something like that, but having a licensed version itself makes so much of difference, that you have control, greater control over the participants, greater control over the the speakers. So there is a difference between empowering people and just asking them to do a class. So you yourself will understand that it is very important that when we talk about leadership, we also provide the resources for the faculty, or resources for the people along with us. And then also inspire people. I cannot, inspire people without doing anything. So if I only do something, people know that yes, he or she has done something. Only then there will be an inspiring role, or people will get inspired, right? So these are, according to me, the pillars of leadership, which are important in getting people to become leaders. Now, I would like to request all of you to reflect upon what you think are the qualities of good leader. I'm sure Madam had also covered it in the morning. You can just put it up in the chat box, but what are the qualities of a leader that you think are important? Empathy, influencer, yes. Balance the ego. Identify talents of team members. Confidence, accepting others' opinion. He should listen to others, very important. Team worker, communication. Yes, trust, appreciation, it's very important. Yes. Vision, encouraging. Good listener, yes, very important. Walk the talk, yes, that was also there in one of the definitions of leadership. That boldness, very important quality. I feel that a leader should be bold enough to take a decision. To boost confidence in subordinates, yes. Responsible, yeah. So thank you very much for your responses. And just to summarize your responses, I can just put it up onto one slide. That what could be the good qualities. Not that only these are the 10 qualities that will make anybody a leader. Along with this, there would be many other qualities which would be important to become a good leader. But a few ones which I felt important, I'm just discussing it over here. One is focus on we, not I. So most of the times we use the word I brings in the ego, and many responses did mention that should not have ego, right? So the leader should always emphasize on using the word we. So we in our institution, we in our department, or even though the presentation is being made by one person or this thing, we always use the word we. So once you use the word we, the others who are there with you also feel associated with you, and they feel that yes, okay, We have to do it. It is not just his or her work. It is our work. It is our institution. It is our department, and we have to do that. Second is accept full responsibility. Not that everything will go right every time. Whenever you find that there is some kind of a thing, you accept responsibility that it is because of me, right? So accepting responsibility is also important, and one of the um, faculty also did mention that responsibility is one of the quality of the leader. And do the right thing. Now, what is right? What is right for you might be wrong for me, or what is right for me might be wrong for you, right? So how to do the right thing? The best thing is to get a consensus about what is right. Right? So in your department or in your own thing, that what I think might be right might not be right for the other person. So better is always consult or arrive at a consensus. So we usually ask each other that, okay, fine, I have a plan like this. What can be done, or what can we do this? Right from asking that, can we do this? So then everybody will say yes, we can do this. How to do this? What is the right approach to do it? So then when we arrive at the consensus, then the possibility that you are going to go wrong is very unlikely, right? So do the right thing and ask by consensus. Then be a visionary in the sense, have a goal for your own self, have a goal for your department, have a goal for your institution, have something that you want to aspire, be something that you want to reach out to. It's not that I want to be in the same chair, same table, or this thing. What is it that I want to become in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What is it that I want to change in the department? So have some kind of a visionary thoughts for yourself, for your family, for your department, for everything, right? And be passionate about winning. So once I set a target, when I set a goal, I should be passionate enough to win, right? So if at all I say that, I apply for 10 projects, getting one project itself, I should be passionate that yes, I got it, right? And keep a positive attitude. It's very important that failures should not, many a times I do hear that we submitted 3 projects, but none of them got a acceptance, or sometimes even today's Praveen's talk also, we were thinking that we submitted an article but got rejected. But failures are a part of the success. So keep a positive attitude always, and think positively that everything is going to happen for a good thing. Build strong relationships. That's very important, because unless and until we develop strong relationships, we don't go that extra mile for the person or for the colleague to be a part of a success, right? So strong relationships are also very important. Be composed during the tough times. These times are also tough, but always understand that we need to be composed during the tough times. Then listen to others. This was one of the qualities which many of you have expressed, that we should be able to listen to others, right? So I cannot keep on talking and not listen to others. So I had to listen to you or others. There might be some different perspective which a person is thinking about, and it's always good to listen to others. And celebrate progress. So if we have an achievement, you've seen that, whatever said and done, we got an act, we didn't get A++, but still we got A+, and we celebrated. We had some kind of we had a celebration of education, we had some kind of an activities going on to celebrate that yes, we have progress. So wherever we are, you have seen that, whenever our institution gets a ranking, we are proud enough to tell it onto the people that yes, we are there, or we have progressed, right? Yeah. Now I would like all of you to just note this link. I can even share the link with everyone. This is a visual personality quiz, which I want you to take up, right? So before I go further into my presentation on the qualities of a leader, we have just seen the qualities of a leader, but let us now analyze where we are and then move forward and change ourselves to becoming a leader. So if at all it was a session, we would have had some activities, and we could have done some self assessment of our personalities, but even otherwise I could find some good online tools which give you a fair uh, assessment of your personality, right? So I request all of you to just take up this quiz, visual DNA. Just put it as visual DNA, who am I quiz, and you will get it in your devices. So it could be taken on the mobile device, it could be taken up on the laptop, desktop, whatever you are using. So just type in Google visual DNA, who am I quiz, and you will be taken to this. This is the landing page of the website. So if you are able to see this, you can start taking up the quiz. It takes about 5 to 8 minutes for the completion of the quiz. But at the end of the quiz, it gives you a very nice report of your personality reflection. It reflects on your personality, what is your personality traits. And these are important because without realizing my personality traits, it's not easy to become a leader. Open the link and start answering the quiz. Start answering the who am I personality quiz. Just a response from 1 or 2 would allow me to understand that you are able to take that quiz. Dr. Deepa, is everybody else able to open the link?
Yes, sir, we can open it actually.
Yeah, okay, sure. So, and I'll give some time, 5 minutes or 8 minutes for the participants to just complete the quiz.
Sure, sir.
Probably once anybody completes it, you can just mention in the chat box that you have completed it. That will help. That will let me know that you have completed the quiz. I'll just wait for other participants also to complete the quiz.
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, those who have done, you can just keep analyzing your report. You can download the complete report also. It is available in the PDF format. So it's hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Kushalapa, sir.
I have been listening to you.
Yes, sir. I just shared some exercise activity with all the participants, just waiting for them to complete that. This was my report. When I had taken it about 8-10 months back, I think, during the last lockdown, actually, when we had one, I was supposed to take an workshop on leadership for an AICT sponsored workshop. So I had found out this tool, and when I took it myself, I could understand that my conscientiousness is low. That is, conscientiousness is about how we control and act on our impulses, right? So basically what happens is these are kind of tools, personality assessment tools. They are tools which will help you understand what is good in you, what needs to be improved upon, right? So this was something which I felt I could act upon and I have to kind of improve upon. And over a period of time, I did become conscious about how I control my impulse, right? So just when I took the test once again, I got a different result. Right? So my conscientiousness had improved a lot. So what I want to share with you all is that such kind of tools are available freely on the internet, as well as this was a visual a test based on which photograph you select and how it reflects your personality. But there are many other tools which over a period of, those of you who have attended the leadership conclaves or leadership workshops, you would have seen that we use a lot of analysis or analytical tools to analyze what type of a personality that we have, right? And over a period of time, you can always work on these personality traits and improve upon yourself, right? So these are some of the tools which can be used and to improve upon our personality and becoming a better leader. all of us are leaders, but yes, definitely we can become a better leader. So this was this thing recently what I had taken. And so why is this important? Is your character or your personality, how it is perceived by the others, that makes you the leader, right? So others should start believing in you that yes, you are a leader. But what is that character in you that is perceived to be as a leader? Right? So that helps by, now you've seen for yourself what is somebody is an alchemist, somebody is a captain, already a leader. So you all are there somewhere there. So you can just understand what characters in you are to be improved upon to accept as a better leader. So in our own personality, when we do another type of personality analysis, is a jury window, right? In this jury window, what we do is there are characteristics or within our own personality traits which are known to me and known to others. So we call it as known to self and known to others, right? So known to self and known to others, this is called as the open self, right? But there are certain characteristics or personality traits which are known to others but not known to self. So this is when people talk behind us that he's like this, he's like that, or she's like this, or she's like that. But probably I am not aware of it, but others know about it. So this blind self, we call it as blind self. Then there are certain personality traits which I know, which is there within me, but it is not known to others, right? So some people, like, just I'll give you an example. They're very conscious about cleanliness. So they might be knowing about it, but others might not know about it, right? So there are personality traits within ourselves which is known to us but not known to others, and these are called as hidden self. And then there are certain personality traits within me which is still not yet known to me and also not known to others, right? So these are called as unknown self. So the jury window is also a very important self-assessment tools. So what we usually do in this is, this is actually a group activity. When we do leadership workshops, we ask what personality traits write about yourself. So a person describes that, I like to be an early riser, I'm like this, I'm like that, and all those things, he or she will write it down. Then we ask the others to write about the person who is, being assessed or who wants to get himself assessed. So the others write about him. Then there is something which, both of us, based on these observations, we come to know about what are the things that is known to others, what is not known to self. So this kind of a analysis is done, and it also helps person or us to analyze what needs to be improved upon. Basically, all these personality assessment tools help us to make ourselves better, right? So what should be improved upon in our personality is understood, and it is even in the we are having a leadership webinar series from the 3rd of June to 5th of June. Many of you would have got an invite also for this thing. Please do fill up the forms, and so in that we have also got a session on, again, self-assessment of personality traits, right? So more of it will be dealt there, or probably in the next leadership workshop whenever we have, right? So how is leadership perceived then, right? So leadership also depends upon your personality traits, how you throw around your weight. That is how people perceive yourself as a leader. So depending on your personality traits, your characteristics, how you behave with others, people start viewing you as a leader. So leader does not mean it is just a position, that not that the only principal is a leader, not the head of a department is a leader. Organizing these kind of workshops, why is Dr. Ashwini and her team organizing this workshop? Because there is some kind of a leadership within themselves that they are able to organize this kind of a program, right? So that is kind of leadership, that somebody takes the responsibility and does it. That is kind of a leadership, right? So leadership is not just a position, but it is, people pursue that, yes, this is the team which can deliver it. This is the team that can do it. And that's why they're doing it, right? So that is kind of a leadership. So beauty, I'll borrow these few slides from my very good friend, Dr. Prashant, who says that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That is, whatever you do, people pursue it in a different way. So it is their perception that is more important, that sees them, that they see a leader in you, right? So eyes do not see what the mind does not know. So if at all, inside me, I have the perception that a leader should be like this. And if at all your personality trait matches that kind of a perception, what I have in my mind, then I see you as a leader, or I start looking at you as a leader, right? So eyes do not see what the mind does not know. So mind has got something in its thing, and only then it can pursue or perceive that so and so person has got such kind of a leadership traits. So again, this has been taken from him. He's passionate about restorative dentistry, conservative and corrective dentistry, wherein the beauty he shared yesterday has also got a science behind it. So when we understand the science, you understand the beauty. So pattern does the magic to the, there is a ratio which matches, and that is perceived to be behind the beauty. So definitely, if there is something behind beauty, then there has to be something behind leadership also. If beauty has a pattern, if beauty has an equation, that is 1:1.6, then does leadership have one? So leadership also has got some kind of a pattern or leadership traits which go along with the person. So there are certain traits, or there are certain characteristics which kind of make a person a leader. So not everybody can kind of nurture that kind of a this thing. So what we need to do is understand what improvements can be made into our own personality traits and how to become a leader, right? So first, we understood in the first part of the presentation what are the qualities of the leader. The second part of it, you just did a personality analysis and understood where do you stand, what is your strength, what is a weakness. You've got a very detailed report with you. You can look into that report, and then also take up some other personality assessment tools which are there, and understand what traits you have, and then understand what are the traits that a leadership has. Whom do you think as a leader? Not that I'm not telling about a positional leadership, but whom you adore as a leader. Just compare those kind of characteristics and improve upon what has to be done. So a subconscious key to leadership traits is very important. So always in our mind, we have to understand that yes, these are the traits which a leader has, and subconsciously we have to start adopting such kind of a characteristic traits. Now let us come to the leadership roles that we play in an academic institution. Right? So what are the faculty? We play a leadership role at an academic institution. So at an academic institution, we play leadership at an individual level. It could be faculty who's not our part of this thing. At an individual level, he is playing a leadership role. And what kind of leadership role he plays? He plays a leadership role in front of the students by taking class, by guiding them, by mentoring them. There are so many roles which a person plays in the academic institution. So it could be at an individual level. Leadership could be also as a part of the department, as a team, right? So it could be as at an individual level, it could be at a department level, it could be at the institution level, or it could be also at the professional bodies, what leadership you might be able to play. So there are different types of leadership, which I was trying to put up, that it could be at an individual capacity, it could be a departmental capacity, in institutional level, the professional body level, right? So you play different roles as a leader in an academic institution. Now, what is the difference? I just added this one part of it. What is the difference between a teacher leader and a teacher? Just a teacher will not have some impact on the students, but whereas a teacher leader will have a good impact. He will have a better student learning because of the collaboration, the empowerment, and the relationship with he or she shares, right? So from our role as a teacher, we need to move into the role of a teacher leader by building in collaborations, relationships, empowerment, and enhancing. Overall, our the goal of an academic institution is to influence the student learning. So we try to make them better learners, right? So by becoming a teacher leader, we enhance the student learning in the academic institution. So like I previously mentioned also, there are different types of roles which we play in an academic institution. One is nurturing academics itself, that is engaging in the teaching learning. There could be some amount of administrative work also which a faculty might be doing, like we see the organizers of this professional excellence series itself. Then there is a kind of research which is expected from all of us. Being an academic staff in an academic institution, we are also having a responsibility and role as a researcher. We do have mentorship programs. We have to guide the students, not only teach them, but engage with some students in a mentorship program, right? So there again, we are playing a role as a leader. Industry and academia collaborations, many of us do have some collaborations with the industry, academia, the networking, partnerships, all these. We go to conferences, not just to attend conferences, we go to conferences and we are missing our friends from across the thing. We network, we collaborate, we partner. Then also a teacher or a faculty might have student support roles. Some of them might have additional responsibility in a student council. There are faculty who are coordinator for the sports, cultural activities, some other responsibilities also. Many of you are IQAC coordinators in the department, in the institution. So a lot of roles, other responsibilities are there with a faculty in a academic institution. Now, how do these responsibilities come up to an individual person, or why responsibilities keep adding up onto few people? Because they are leaders. So there are certain characteristic traits, personality traits, or the qualities that they have that makes them a kind of a perception that people start believing that, there or she or he is a leader. So that is how, the different roles that we play in the institution. Also, we are having some kind of a leadership. I think I have time for this, so I'll expect all of you to just reflect upon yourself. Many of you would have taken up a task organizing conferences, or done some kind of some CME, organize some this thing, wherein you have played a role of a leader. So, or you could be even a head of the department, or kind of a leader of a task force, or leader of a SIG, or whatever role you have played as a leader. Then think about what went well with it. Why was it a success? Suppose you organized a conference. What was the success story behind that? I just invite one or two members to kindly share their experiences as a leader. What made a particular task or a particular activity a success? Yeah, anybody wants to share? I'll stop sharing now. Attendees, anybody, or please raise your hand so that we can allow you to share your experience. Who is the host for this? Sumuk, can you just unmute promote Veena Jayden?
Sure, sir. I'm doing that right now. And even Dr. Suman ma'am.
Yeah.
So eventually even she can take over. Dr. Veena, you can go ahead, please.
Yeah, so this is when, back in college, so when we organize many CD programs and conferences, and being a part of the group, I could learn a lot. like such as accommodating people, then multitasking, and then organizing and prioritizing things. Basically, organization and managing people at the same time managing my own works. So that is what I learned by taking up, by doing group works.
So definitely, it's very nicely brought out, ma'am, that when you are organizing a conference, probably you need to accommodate people, work beyond us, prioritizing things. It's a big activity in itself, the organizing a conference, and I'm sure the conference success would have been still you have that in your thing. So it carries forward. You always like to carry the success stories with you. It's a nice. Thank you, Dr. Veena. Anybody else?
Thank you,
Yeah, Dr. Suman, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I have two good memories with associated with JSS Dental College. The first one was long back when we conducted the zonal South Zone level periodontal conference, national level periodontal conference, when Dr. Ravindra was our HOD. It was such a big hit that we were very enthusiastic. I think the success of that conference was that we all worked as a team and we trusted each other, and everybody had their own jobs to do, and we took responsibility of our jobs and saw that everything was done in time, and we had a strategy and a time slot for all the events. So I think teamwork with good planning and strategy, which is time bound, can make anything successful. And the other one was the recent IQAC Sports Fest, University Sports Fest, which I'm very proud of. We accommodated around 1,000 participants, and everything was done by students. Being the leader, they had so much trust, and we all worked as a team. So I think teamwork does a lot in making any event successful.
Yeah. Lastly, we will just hear from Dr. Dakshani and Dr. Nandlal, and we'll move forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. The main thing, as told by others also, and all of us will agree, teamwork is one which actually leads us to success. Now, if I have to say my experience either in the dental college or now in the university, it is the teamwork and taking along everybody along with us is what gives us success.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Nandlal, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Dr. Prashant.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Well, there's. I would like to put it short. It gave me to way back from 1995. Not the good old days like we have been hearing about that, but it's about our institution. From 95, 2001, 2014, time and again, we could see what is our strengths. It helped me, like with our team, to recognize people who can take forward this organization. It helped me and the team to go forward and see how we can showcase our organization in the national level and international. In short, that's what I'll say. It was really a learning experience to identify people, and you can see them today what they are.
Yes. So, few of the things, again, which is reflected in the experiences which has been shared by the members is, again, team building, accommodating others, inspiring, creating leaders. Means many of them have helped create leaders. So there are a lot of stories and success things which each one of us do have and carry forward that, but always it is good to go back and see that why did it become a success. Once we organize a conference, that time we are under immense stress. We are ready to do anything at that particular point of time. But after that is over, we again lose that kind of thing. So that should not happen. We have to go back and revisit that particular incident and see what made it a good success. Can that same thing be imbibed even today, or can be done for the next conferences, right? So these are some of the qualities probably which we have to reflect upon and see that, how best we can incorporate that in the day-to-day activities, right? So thank you everyone for sharing your experiences. I'm sure there'll be many more to share, but because of the paucity of time, I'll not be able to take everybody's experiences into this thing, sharing. So there are certain leadership traits. Madam also in the morning, she mentioned that there are different styles of leadership, right? But there are certain leadership traits also. In an organization, the associated efforts of many individuals are necessary. You all shared that viewpoint, and it's a teamwork which is very important, not an individual. I cannot work as an individual and get just publication, but we need to have a teamwork. And achievement of objectives which have been set depends upon the cooperative efforts of the individuals, right? So it's not that just one person can become important, the team becomes important. And achievement of objectives which have been set depends upon cooperative efforts of all individuals. And leadership is not based on position or status, but on authority and prestige. So somebody might just give you a position of a head of a department or something, but it does not come with a position or with kind of a thing. It comes with itself. It is an authority and a prestige that a person becomes a leader. And leadership may come from personal enthusiasm, personal authority, credibility, and knowledge and experience, knowledge and skill, and charisma, right? So all these are kind of, it comes on itself, leadership, and it develops over a period of time. So what are the functions as a leader? So if at all we all assume that we all are leaders, what is it that we do? And Dr. Veena shared that, the planning of the conference, the decision making, the prioritizing, something which many of you did mention, that there is a lot of planning and decision making which goes along with a leader. So the moment you accept some responsibility, the first thing that you start doing is planning and decision making. So leaders have to make a decision. They have to determining the courses of action. So they have to determine what is to be done next, how to achieve it. And once you have done this, then you start organizing. Right? So for any activity, whether it is a simple publication or whether it is a kind of a class, taking a class, whatever leadership role I am playing in an academic institution, there are certain processes involved. One is planning, decision making, organizing, leading, controlling. Just let us take one more example. If I have got a class at say 12 o'clock today, I had a class, and I come to the class and started the PPT, the power, there is a power cut, power failure or disruption in the power. What happens? I cannot disengage the class. I have to engage the class. So what is it that I have to keep prepared? Should I take a small notes along with me so that in case there is a power failure, major power failure, or something goes back, I have something in my hand, right? Then organizing. Simple way of organizing your PPT itself is organizing. You are trying to coordinate activities and resources. Then leading. You are managing and motivating people. A classroom is also a leading example because you have to manage those 100 students, or in a medical college 200, now we are applying for 250. So imagine managing those 200 students or 250 students in a class. That itself is a leader. You are showing your leadership capacity there. So a good teacher also is a good leader, right? Then controlling, monitoring and evaluating activities. A lot of you shared, many of you shared the examples of conferences, but definitely see in the conference you have to monitor and evaluate a lot of activities, right? So as a head of the department head would be controlling so many activities, monitoring and evaluating, seeing that, okay, fine, this is what has been achieved, this is not what has been, this has been not achieved. So what needs to be done? Again, it goes through a planning and decision making, again through a process of organizing, then leading, and again controlling. So this is something, what Dr. Prashant will say, a PDCA act for a ISO, this thing. So plan, do, check, and action. So this is again a kind of cycle which keeps continuing when we are a leader. So when we are functioning as a leader. And finally, academic leadership roles. There are different types of roles that we play. I'm not going to touch upon this, but why is leadership so important in an academic institution? And why is it gaining so much of importance? Is that the academic environment or academic milieu is fast changing and demanding. Till last year, we didn't have a dental college rankings, but now you have got a dental college rankings as well. So we are in the top 10. If you are in the top 10, then you have to remain in the top 10 or you have to move further, right? So this kind of a demanding, now the pressure is quite high. The university is growing, the institutions are growing. There is fast there is a quite competition amongst institutions. So the situation itself is demanding. There is a government itself which has set up a national education policy. They have set up standards, benchmarks, and they want us to achieve that. Every institution to get into NAC A++. So the environment scenario is quite demanding, and expectations from the regulatory authorities, government, everybody is increasing. Right? So in this kind of a context, we have to nurture our own leadership skills. We have to start becoming a leader within our own areas. Right? And I told you about competition among institutions. To stand out is desirable. When I talk to many other, just recently I had given a talk in one of the dental college in Kolkata. I don't know how we got connected, but they want to come in the top 10 of the NIRF rankings, right? So there is a competition amongst the institution to stand out. Then setting internal benchmarks. So if I am having an H index of 10, I want to set my H index to 15 in the next 2 years. How do I move forward? I have to set my own benchmarks. If I've got 8 publications, how do I make it to 12? Or how do I move forward? So there has to be some kind of a leadership drive within each one of us that pushes us further. Of course, along with all these things comes the rankings, accreditation for the institution. But finally, why we need to do everything is because of a personal satisfaction. Right? That is very important. Becoming a leader, becoming everything, ultimately, what should be there is also a personal and professional satisfaction. Right? So that is the changing context. Again, this was one of the group activity. What I'll do is I'll just share this PDF document with all of you so that after this session is over, you can fill it at your own time. Right? So I'm putting it in the chat box for all. You can. Yeah, so this is again a questionnaire. I'll just share that screen with you. This is again a personality assessment tool. It has got a lot of questions. Some of it says as pharmacist's inventory of learning styles, but it is not related only to a pharmacist. It was developed by a pharmacist, but it is applicable to everyone. So it is about general personality assessment tools, learning styles. Learning style is, see, you have done an analysis of your trait, but now how good are you a learner? We have to analyze our learning styles as well. Listen, how best do I learn? So if I am able to learn, I will be able to imbibe those characteristics of a leader within myself, and I can also aspire, or I can also become a leader. So this is also an important kind of an assessment where we do assessment of learning styles. What is my learning style? How do I learn? Right? So you could be an accommodator. There are 4 learning styles which has been described over here. You could be an accommodator, you could be an assimilator, you could be a converger, or you could be a diverger, right? So again, here you identify your most dominant learning style, and then you also identify your secondary learning style, right? So again, this is some exercise which I would leave it. I would like you to take it up after this session is over, because I don't want you to be late for your lunch. So to conclude, I would just request all of you to, reflect on or think, where are you at the moment? Think on one competency in leadership. We discuss so many competencies of leadership that he should be a listener, he should be so many things, many qualities, competencies of a leader that we discussed today. But what is it that one personality trait of a leader that you want to focus upon after this session? Think about it, make a note of it, and probably when we meet at the next leadership conclave, we can discuss upon, what was it that you thought about and how you were able to improve upon this. So probably you can give us some examples, and we can also learn that what worked for you could probably work for others also, right? So what is your personal plan to achieve this? So what will you do next week? What will you do next month? Suppose if I want to have more patients, so for patients, what will I do next week? What will I do the next month? What will I do in the next 100 days, right? So think about that and have a action plan ready for you. I would like to conclude by telling you that, sharing that, true leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. That's what Dr. Nanlal also was telling, that they have created leaders, right? So true leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders, right? So thank you all for your patient hearing and being so active right, throughout this session.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, a pleasure to hear from the leader himself, I must say. It was a very informative and interactive session too, especially prior to the lunch session. A lot of interactions, and really glad to share that most of the participants were participating actively in your session. Nice to know that.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Congratulations
Chitala and
to
Dr.
you,
Deepa.
sir. May I now request Dr. Deepa to share her inputs over the presentation?
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation, which I can tell you that one of the very informative and inspiring and an interactive session of all the aspiring who will become the next generation academic leaders. The famous phrase goes like this: the leaders are born, not made, but predominantly concentrating upon the personality trait aspect of a person. But later on, Vincent Lambert did come out with this statement as leaders are made, but not born. It consistently with the sheer consistent hard work. It certainly looks like it after listening from the deliberation talk from the Prashant sir. And I certainly believe that no single person is spared from being inspired to become a leader, with a hardworking academic leader, after listening to such a wonderful talk, sir. As you all know, a leadership doesn't come in a day, either in any of the profession. As Sir said, improved efficiency and effectiveness in the career researchers and academics is very crucial for the growth and excellent research and the knowledge. The objectives, what Sir told, you should be understand the concepts of the leadership, the qualities of the each personalities of the leader, and self-assessment of the personality trait. It means understanding the leadership roles and way forward to the reflection on leaders. The qualities of leaders, it has a definitive different qualities on each definitions, as Sir explained. Ability to develop a vision that should always motivate the others, and it should influence the people to accomplish vision, inspire commitments, and improve the organization. And Sir also explained very nicely about the difference between a boss and a leader, where a leader can lead to an influence, try to complete the work from the subordinates. A few of the points which are the pillars of leadership, what we can tell are the inspire people, empower people, lead change, and share vision. The qualities are many, as like we should always focus on be or not hide, and accept the full responsibility, and be a visionary, listen to others, and make a compose during a tough time, and always celebrate and appreciate the progress of the team. And the characters, it depends on the personality trait, like based upon the known by self or known from the others, or not known to self itself. It has a different characters of personality trait. That is the tool you should be able to understand that and make improve in your personality. And a subconscious key is one of the leadership trait. The roles in the academic institution depends on a different level, and you should understand that role and give a complete response to that and give it to a, try to achieve in a good, higher way. And the teaching, the relationship between the students and the teacher should be a teacher leader. It means a building collaboration, relations, and empowerment should be there along with the students. The functions of the leadership will always depend upon the planning, always, a decision making, organizing, building networks, mentoring or leading the task, and controlling the concepts. Finally, to end, there are certain leadership traits where we can come across like a personal enthusiasm, authority, credibility, knowledge, skill, and charisma. Based upon all this, sir, like sir always tells that leadership should always role should be in a higher way. Thank you for the organizing team for giving an opportunity to talk as a panelist in this virtual platform in the pandemic era. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Deepa. That indeed was very elaborate about Dr. Prashant sir's presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
I now request Dr. Prashant Vishwanath to accept a token of appreciation in the form of a certificate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure is ours. And to our panelist, Dr. Deepa.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Deepa.
Thank you, sir.
And on behalf of the organizing committee, thank you once again, Dr. Prashant and Dr. Deepa. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the organizing team for giving an opportunity to share thoughts. So it's been a really wonderfully organized event, 3 days, very well organized, I should say. Thank you very much for taking this forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We move on with the observations for the day, which will be delivered by Dr. Meenakshi M., Assistant Professor, Department of Prosthodontics, to kindly share her observations. Over to you, Dr. Meenakshi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Chanchala. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the organizing team of Professional Excellence Series for meticulously organizing the series of webinars. I would be failing if I don't address the active participation of all the participants. They have been empathetically listening and responding to all our queries. So your participation will encourage us to do many more in future. With this, I also thank the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to provide an overview of today's webinar series. So we kickstarted our webinar series, our brainstorming session with Dr. Praveen Kulkarni, and he has been regarded as a powerhouse of knowledge, as we all know. And his webinar series started off with essential skills of publication writing and publication ethics. So according to me, publications are the coins of realm. Now, having said that, if you really want to say something, if you want to address our perspective, we need to put up our perspective, we need to share them. Then what are we supposed to do? We need to write. Now, writing or scientific publication is a part of professional excellence. It helps us to advance professionally. Writing is an important skill. We need to acquire it, be it academics or clinical practice. It not only helps for achieving the academic excellence, but it also gives personal gratification. Now, if we want to advance in our field, then we need to publish. So sir aptly said that how can we do this, or how can we achieve this, is by preventing scientific misconduct following ethical concepts. So our aim should be directed for quality and ethical publication. As Dr. Chanchala aptly said, ma'am has led us as an example. So leadership is believing in ourselves or yourself. Who else would be a better example than ma'am herself, Dr. Dakshayani ma'am, being an academician, a clinician, student and faculty centered, later stepping up higher, being the Deputy Director of JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research. She's excelled being an academic leader. And when women are involved in doing the same, then they bring about the skill, different perspectives, sense of willingness, awareness, and encourage the fellow women and uplift them to do the same. Now, to sum it all up, let us all be committed to use our own abilities to lead others in ensuring the goal achievement. As all of us are bestowed with innumerable leadership qualities. Fit yourself in fitness. This was addressed by Dr. Arabi today. And after listening to Dr. Usha on the second day of webinar series, who has been an epitome of fitness and motivating all of us in our dental college, this topic is also quite close to my heart. Dr. Arabi has also highlighted that it's always begin to start with the right momentum. And let us all hold ourselves accountable and let's motivate ourselves by knowing the elements of fitness. It's now or never. Now, in today's scenario, in today's profession, our profession basically, today's sitting is the new smoking. So she has guided each one of us in the effective fitness. And I'm happy and glad to share that we at JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research have initiated the Dental Ergonomic Certificate course, which is with all the support being rendered by Dr. Kushalappa sir, Academic Director, and Dr. Manjunatha sir, our Registrar and our beloved Principal, for having formulated a dental ergonomic team. And we definitely assure that our students and faculty in due course of time are devoid of what is commonly called as work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Developing next generation academic leaders. It is just the expansion of leadership equation as aptly addressed by Dr. Prashant sir. Identifying, nurturing, unlocking the potential. Hence, leaders are the critical components to maintain the pipeline for the continuity. Hence, gaining experience and skill are necessary in this process. Hence, careful identification and nurturing will keep the pipeline flowing as all of us are empowered with leadership qualities. Now, this could be achieved by understanding skill development, fundamental learning, experimental learning, succession planning. Now, to sum it all up, let's walk the mile. The acronym states itself to motivate, to inspire, to lead and engage, which was addressed very much appropriately by Prashant sir. Thank you so much, sir. I once again thank the organizing team for providing me an opportunity to sum it all up for today's webinar series. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Meenakshi, for your valuable observations of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chanchala.
I kindly request you to accept our appreciation in the form of a certificate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you from the organizing team as well. Moving on, we end our presentations for the day. But personally, on a personal front, if I have to tell, what a journey it has been. It's been 3 days of, I feel like a personal one-on-one counseling session for better well-being, truly. Don't you all agree with that? I'm sure most of you do. Something apart from our dentistry, something apart from medicine for the overall well-being. Thank you very much for all your participation in this webinar series. I request you all to please stay back for a brief valedictory function in a moment. We now move on to our valedictory ceremony. With the blessings of His Holiness Jagat Guru Sri Deshikendra Mahaswamigalu, a very good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of the institution and the organizing committee, we are delighted to offer a gracious welcome to our ever-charming and enthusiastic Director Academics, JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Kushalappa sir. Privileged to have you with us. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're pleased to have with us our Chief Information Officer with us today. We extend our gratitude for his timeless support with regard to technical support offered constantly. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
A pessimist complains about the wind, an optimist tries to change it, and a leader adjusts the sails. The sails for this particular notion were adjusted by a person who's not only a great motivation to all of us, but a visionary, and the person who gave us the belief to bring together this event. He is none other than our beloved principal, Dr. Ravindra S., and also the organizing chairman of the webinar series. Privileged to have you with us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I welcome each and everyone, all the participants to this valedictory function. To summarize briefly on the webinar report, over the last 3 days, we've been through a range of interesting webinars which focused on crucial, essential, and important aspects of well-being. But these are often ignored to be learned. From well-being and collaboration to time management and publication ethics, these diverse range of topics will help us all excel as professionals. This has been a great platform to learn from different speakers about their areas of expertise on varied topics. These topics are what make us professionals, and that is what this series has all been about. Approximately about 900 participants. Proudly, we can say that 900 participants have been benefited from this webinar. We have had participants from all parts of the nation and overseas too. I've personally heard a lot of great feedbacks on this session from several people. As all of us know, to help us understand the experience of our attendees on a deeper level and to improve ourselves in the process, feedback is a final component and one of the important factors in the process of communication. With this note, may I request Dr. Nandalal, Head of the Department, Pediatrics and Preventive Dentistry, former Dean, to kindly share his valuable feedback.
Very good afternoon.
Very good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chanchala, and good afternoon, Dr. Kushalapa, sir, for your guidance. I'm sure Dr. Chanchala has briefed. I'm sure we are all fully engineered already and re-engineered as well, I would say. And I'm sure the pathway to professional excellence is well taken up by all the participants, and they will definitely take our organization to the next level. I will also like to say that we always say that these type of programs are to be part and parcel of an organization so that we can move forward. So as I would like to recall our concept of Erickson's psychology, that there is lifelong learning. The personality changes, right? Not only from ends at the childhood, but continues throughout life. And this is the time we look back and we come out with different goals to carry forward. I'm sure this program would have created a real inspiration, and not to forget that all the speakers have showed total clear understanding what they have experienced and what they feel that is needed today for this organization to move forward. I also would like to recall I had the opportunity to to learn from our leaders whom I worked with you as a student and as a colleague in this organization. In this organization, I would say my first entry was I learned that we need you, and you need to also take forward others with you. And these were the words given by none other than our president, of our society, His Holiness. And later, it was also the inspiration by the first principal of this college, Dr. Raju. His words were, you need to start a department. It was very, very a tough task to start a department. He said, we are with you. When they are with us or all are with us, we can move ahead with our steps and we could start a department which was an empty room at that time. So I would say leaders, if they have a team and support and encouragement and the right people take side, think we can move on. So it is not difficult. And I had also felt that we learn soft skills with experience with our people, the next principal, as well as Dr. Yadav, who also was inspiration to this institution. A lot of systems are in place. We learned a lot how to work as a team and go forward. And I'm sure I will like to also share that it is not just, I had the feeling that we saw generations of faculty who have worked here as, we had leaders, and now I'm seeing the second level of leaders already there. So it was not that difficult to, I would say, we learned over time and we have taken the steps, and now is the time to reform and go forward from here. Thank you. I think this program would have been a really with self-assessing ourselves what we are and to build the confidence further and move forward. Thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you, Nandlal sir, for sharing your experiences and valuable feedback. Thank you. Indeed, it's very important for us. We may have Dr. Ramakant Naik, Principal of Maratha Mandal Dental College, Belgaum, to share his valuable feedback.
Thank you, Dr. Chanchala. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible,
Yeah,
sir.
Jai Hind and very good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, congratulations to Team JSS and the organizing team, Director Academics, Dr. Kushalappa, Principal JSS Dental College, Dr. Ravindra, the organizing chairman, organizing secretary, Dr. Ashwini, joint secretary, Dr. Bhagyalakshmi, their colleagues, not to forget the members of the student committee for organizing and successfully conducting this very informative series of webinars under the heading Professional Excellence and Excel series. The topics for the 3 days were indeed diverse, but very pertinent for making a wholesome professional, and which certainly would help a professional excel in the field. Right from day one, which started with a very brief but very nice session that was on interprofessional education and collaborative practice by Dr. Bhagyalakshmi. And we moved on to other webinars on revisiting well-being, the emotional intelligence. We had our Iron Man, Dr. Usha Hegde, sharing her own experiences on how to balance profession and passion with her own experience in life. And she really spelled out how we can excel in both our profession as well as our passion. Day two, we had excellent sessions on time management, the communication skills by Dr. Elsa. With her clinical scenarios, she put out how communication skills is very important. And if we don't communicate well, we can land up with a jar of stool on our table. Okay, we had good sessions on soft skills and presentation skills, the science of and art of presentation. Day three, today we had excellent session by Dr. Praveen on ethical issues in publication. It helped me remember a quote that the worst regret we can have in life is for the right things that we could have done but never did. Ethics is not only important in publication, but both in our professional as well as personal life. Then we had a session by Dr. Dakshayani on women and academic leadership. And I, for one, definitely believe that women are more adept at multitasking and make up for great leaders. Okay, so in the days to come, we'll see many more women leaders, okay, spearheading the country. Then we had a session on fit yourself in fitness, in which we had some relaxing exercises as well. And the last session on developing the next gen academic leaders by Dr. Prashant. I should say that all the speakers were extremely erudite and informative, and the real life scenarios, the case scenarios, the take-home messages given by all the speakers made the webinars worthwhile attending. Congratulations once more to Team JSS, and best wishes for all your future scientific events. Thank you, Dr. Chanchala, and thank you, the organizing team.
Immensely glad to hear from you, sir. Thank you very much for your valuable feedback. So may I now request Dr. Mandava Prasad, Professor and Head Department of Orthodontics, Narayana Dental College and Hospital, Nellore, to kindly share his valuable feedback.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Audible. Thank you very much for inviting me to share my views. A very good afternoon to one and all. The Dean Academics, Dr. Kushalappa sir, and Dr. Ravindra S, Principal, and ex-Principal, Dr. Nandalal. My association with, actually I finished my BDS at Manipal and MDS at AB Shetty. In the last 16 years, I've been heading the orthodontics department at Narayana Dental College, Nellore. And my association, I'm also the batchmate of Anil and Sheila Gujjari. I'm very happy to say that we are all batchmates in 1984 Manipal batch. Anil, Sheila, myself, and so many others. And Manjunath sir is our sir, conservative endodontics. And so excellent. I would like to first congratulate the entire team, which has done a great work, well coordinated and excellent 3 days. I in between, due to the postgraduate works, I missed a couple of sessions, that's all. Maximum sessions I have attended. I have attended, thanks to Corona, I have attended around more than 300 odd webinars, and I have 150 certificates in the mailbox. So, and I have presented 4 or 5 international webinars, which I shared. 3 of the webinars I shared with you, dear friends, because they are all related to the topics which have been presented. So, as Dr. Ramakant has told, that was very, very true. Dr. Elsa, the great presentations, all the presentations were excellent from the day 1 till the last presentation given by Dr. Prashant Vishwanath. That was also an excellent presentation. So as Dr. Prashant Vishwanath just finished, I would like to add to that H-index. He was talking about the Google H-index 10. So now at the international level, to get more recognition, you should have an H-index of 20. I think sir must be knowing that. So the H-index 20, you will be called in for all the various things. If you have H-index 20, the international recognition is very good. The Google Scholar I am talking, Scopus can be around H-index 10. That also one of my research presentations I shared today in the chat box. From the day 1 I have been sharing. I only know 4 or 5 people in the JSS. My association with JSS Mysuru is been as a postgraduate examiner, probably almost 7 or 8 years back, I think, postgraduate exams. That time Dr. Nandanal was principal, and I only know Dr. Bhagya and Dr. Raghu from author departments, and Anil and Sheila. That's all. So that is my association with the JSS Mysuru. So coming to this presentations, Dr. Prashant's excellent presentation yesterday. I attended the full session. Prashant's formula I can't remember. I am poor in mathematics. Anyway. So Dr. Praveen Kulkarni, he was just amazing, and that also, it is a very excellent topic, and that's why I shared today's my webinar, which all the research quality integrity, it is there in that webinar. You can go through when you are free, and on well-being, of course, yes. Even on well-being, I have done a few seminars. That's why I shared that stress and burnout. These are all related to the stress and burnout. Okay, the burnout is now officially declared by the WHO. It is there now. It is in the list of various diseases. It is approved one, the burnout. These are all the things. So I congratulate the entire JSS team. Wonderful work by all of you, and it might have taken a lot of pain to collect such type of topics, and these are the apt topics and wonderful collection of various areas which are not just stuck on to your regular academic these things. So great work to the team and Dr. Arabi's that fitness, the full fitness, the musculoskeletal disorders. That was also an excellent one. And yesterday somebody was talking on procrastination and time management. That is very, very apt now, which we see in all the postgraduates and the undergraduates, even the faculty, and even we also procrastinate. Even I was talking a couple of years back before the corona in my national invited guest lecture at Hyderabad in the IOSPG convention on procrastination and time management. 30% of procrastination and is allowed. It is allowed. More than that, you'll have to take care of that. Every one of us procrastinate. That is very true. So thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Bhagya, for inviting me here to share my views. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. God bless you and the best wishes for the future programs, JSS team. Thank you so much.
So you've been a wonderful participant, I must say, for all the 3 days, so actively participating, being such a senior person.
Thank you, Dr. Chanchila.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
May I now request Dr. Renuka Amangi, Professor and Head, Department of Oral Medicine and Radiology, Maratha Mandal Dental College, Belgaum, to provide us a feedback of this webinar series.
Thank you, Dr. Chanchala.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. So I would like to thank the entire organizing team. It was a wonderful session for 3 days. We never realized that it was 3 days long. So we enjoyed all the sessions, all the days. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to conceptualize the idea of entire topics of well-being, fitness, or emotional intelligence, or publication ethics, all the things put together, and they were very much organized in a very well manner also in a day, each one after the other, leading to the next session. That was also very nicely done. The flow was really maintained and I really enjoyed that flow as well. And I would like to congratulate the entire organizing team, Dr. Ashwini and her teammates. It was wonderfully done. Starting from conceptualizing the idea, the speakers were very highly repute. The presentations were excellent, and I really enjoyed each and every session which I attended. 1 or 2 sessions probably I didn't attend because of the work pressure, but most of the sessions were really wonderful and very informative. I would also like to congratulate the technical team. There were hardly any technical glitches. The transition was smooth, the entire network, no network issues, no audible issues, things like that. So entire team of technical, this thing is very well maintained. So thank you, sir, Dr. Kushalappa, sir, Dr. Ravindra, sir, the entire JSS team. The enthusiasm can be seen from the top to the lowermost. So the entire presentations, the way they were organized, they were presented, there was a reflective session, and there was entire observations were done for the entire day. So all those things were very, very good. So I would like to congratulate the entire team once again for conducting such a wonderful session. And I would also like to say all the best for your future ventures. Thank you, Dr. Chanchala. Thank you, organizing team.
So glad to hear from you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable feedback. It means a lot to us. Moving on, we shall have a final say from our guest for today. May I request Dr. Kushalappa, sir, to kindly share his views with us on this webinar, please?
Thank you for calling me again for the valedictory and inviting me. I thoroughly enjoyed this morning being with you all. And am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. Thank you so much for involving me. I was today I was a little free. I didn't go to the university, so I could spend the whole morning with you all It was a wonderful morning today. And all the participants, I'm sure you have all heard about the Professional Excellence webinar from all the learned people who spoke right now. Anyway, you've heard about all the leadership, teamwork, leadership development, women achievers especially, which is wonderful talk, emotional intelligence, soft skills, communication, and ethics in your profession, and other things beneficial. You have learned how to handle crisis and manage your time. And speaking about managing time, I should again compliment the organizers for having managed time wonderfully during the whole 3 days of this webinar and getting the valedictory function. It was slated for 2. It started at 2:06, which is wonderful time management. Congratulations to all of you. And to tap it all, there was a wonderful thing on how to lecture on how to keep fit. And I'm happy that we have a course on ergonomics. Meenakshi, I think you should be proud of that. I think we've beat everybody else to have a course in ergonomics. And
so with your guidance and blessings, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, but the most interesting talk was today's. I listened to Dr. Prashant and Dr. Dakshani. It was very interesting to listen to Dr. Dakshani motivating all of you. And I know that the population of the women in the dental college is much, much more than the men. So that itself is a credit. And Dr. Dakshani was your leader not too long back. And I like to add that women now are regular fighter pilots. There are so many fighter pilots among the women. And from my days, what I used to see the women's cricket, now the women can give the men a run for their money. That aggressive they are as cricketers also. And finally, we all know we are searching for something in the house, or if we want some problem solved in the house, who do we turn to other than the woman in the house? So that itself, I really don't know how you all know all the answers and where to find things. It amazes me. All that I can say is all men, we work with a narrow band, and the women work with a broad band. So that's the brains you all have, the connections in the brain which you all have. And I think that was the most very interesting topic when I logged in to listen to Dr. Dakshani. And overall, I think it was a wonderful 3 days, and I'm sure the members have benefited a lot from that. I was so proud to listen to the various leaders in their own right speaking so highly of the webinar, and the principals. They spoke so highly of the webinar, and I'm so proud to be a part of this, and I'm so proud of the dental college having organized such a wonderful webinar. Congratulations again.
Thank you, sir. It's always been a pleasure to hear to you. As we say, the fragrance of flowers spread only in one direction of the wind, but the goodness of a person spreads in all directions. Thank you, sir, for your influential message. We are charmed by your sharp fluency. Thank you once again. May I request Dr. Ravindra R. sir to kindly share his views over the webinar series?
Yeah, it's madam. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you. I think good afternoon, all of you. I think in the last 3 days, I think all of you must have had some exhilarating experience. As mentioned by many of the speakers, and also the reviews from different people. I think it's really wonderful to hear all of them. And one thing which I was also just looking into is, I think you have covered areas right from interpersonal relations or interpersonal education, revisiting the well-being, emotional intelligence, balancing profession with passion, time management, soft skills. A whole lot of interesting topics were covered. I think this takes me back to my earlier days when I used to work for like Coca-Cola and Merck, because last 35 years I have been with the industry, and particularly the multinational companies like Coca-Cola and Merck. And I have seen great leaders there emerging, and had the opportunity to work with many leaders. So what I have seen is, I think the common factor, when I look into all the leadership, is basically the interpersonal relations, the people management, the process orientation, emotional intelligence, the passion with which they drive the industry, they drive the companies, time management, the communication skills those leaders have, and also to top it all, the kind of educations that they have. I think all of them, were very striking. And in fact, in the last 3 days, I think you guys have covered all of them. I think it's very important that goes on to say that I think you have touched the right chords. I think for future leadership, if they have to be effective, I think they need to imbibe these skills, imbibe these the skills, whether it is interpersonal relations, people management, working on their passion, keeping aside we call it as work-life balance. But basically, I think as you have put it rightly, Dr. Usha has very clearly mentioned, I think it is how do you keep your profession and passion apart? That means so those are certain things which are very, very critical. And also what I have done is I have worked with like a lot of HR leadership as well. I think many of them are my friends, and when we have the conversations, I keep asking, how do you identify the right people? How do you identify people for the positions like like CEOs, MDs, or for the top management? I think one common factor, a single answer is we don't look into the skills specifically. If we don't look into whether he's a great engineer or whether it is a great doctor or whether he's a great technically sound and all those things. But most of them, they keep telling the person has to be a great people manager. His ability to work in a team and ability to lead and support the talented people, that's very critical, because managing talented people is much more difficult than managing the normal people. And also, how do you have the good communication abilities? How do you develop it over a period of time? And how passionate you are. I think passion is the right word to use for leaders, because most of the leaders, 99.99% of the leaders, what you see, they are passionate about what they are doing. They're passionate about driving the business in the right direction. I think to be a good leader, I think one has to have these virtues. I think Dr. Prashant has mentioned very clearly to you, like how a leader should be and what needs to be developed to become a right leader. I think to that extent, what I feel is the organizing such webinars, they're very, very critical. I think you had an excellent audience as well. I think I want to thank here the organizing committee for having thought through this, because what I see is, I think most of you are doctors, most of you are dentists and doctors, and from different areas, not particularly from what do you say, the public private sectors. But what I can see is the organizing committee has thought through this and made it possible, that too without any flaws. I think that's something which we need to appreciate them. And some of them I happen to see and happen to hear them. I think wonderful. You have identified the right speakers, right topics, and even the audience, they were good. I think you were able to keep the audience also together till the last moment. I think that's something very critical, and I congratulate you, and thank you for calling me also to just give some feedback to you. I think it's wonderful, and we want to hear and see more such webinars from you. I think it's a good job done. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for so well-framed and valuable feedback from your end, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I just add a word, Chanchila?
Yes, sir, please.
Dr. Ravindra should be the proudest man today, because Sumukh is the one who is responsible for not having any technical flaws, as mentioned by Madam.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Perfectly said, sir. I think Sumukh is an equal participant as the organizing committee member. Chairperson is as good as that, because he's been working immensely day and night. That's what I can say. Further, I think Dr. Ashwini will tell. So moving on, gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Every celebration is an experience. The external fades away and the internal lingers and echoes in most of the depth of our hearts. We're reminded that events like this one are milestones on the journey of life. As we come to the closure of our valedictory ceremony, may I invite Dr. Ashwini T.S. to propose the vote of thanks.
Chanchal, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Good afternoon to one and all. With the blessings of His Holiness, I take this opportunity on behalf of JSS Dental College and Hospital and the organizing committee to take this proposed vote of thanks. Before proposing the vote of thanks, I would just want to share like how did we come and plan this whole webinar. We actually had planned for an interdepartment state level conference where we thought of having all the departments coming together on a single platform, present their best case reports, where we had an opportunity to know how each department could help the other in planning the treatment. And also thought of having a keynote lectures on interprofessional management. And when I got back to Dr. Bhagya and discussed along with the other team members, Dr. Bhagya came up with the interesting topics which we heard in these 3 days. I should tell Dr. Bhagya didn't even take half a day to get back with these topics and the speakers. Thank you, Bhagya. The topics which are crucial, essential, and important, and is often ignored in the profession. So we decided to host the webinar and then take up the state level conference in the upcoming days. I'm happy we got a very good response and a good feedback from all of you, and we are overwhelmed with the response. Thank you all. Thomas Carl said, the merit of originality is not novelty, it's sincerity. I proudly say we did work sincerely towards the webinar, which made it novel. Being told you're appreciated is one of the simplest and most uplifting things you can hear. With this note, I shall take pleasure of extending my gratitude and regards to all who helped us. My heartily thanks to our Director of Academics, Dr. Kushalappa, for always being supportive and encouraging. Thank you, sir, for your constant support. My gratitude and thanks to Dr. Ravindra R., Chief Information Officer, JSSDC&H for constant support and making this webinar happen. Sir, I must say your support throughout is well appreciated and acknowledged. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to our beloved principal, Dr. Ravindra S., for always standing by us and helping us to organize this webinar. Thank you, sir, for your guidance and support. My sincere thanks to all the eminent speakers for joining us enthusiastically and making this program successful. I would like to mention we had external speakers, Dr. Pooja Anand from Delhi, Dr. Arabi from Mysuru, and Elsa who joined us from Manipal. My warm regards and heartily thanks to all. I'm glad and thankful to all the reflection panelists and the observers for accepting the invitation, being the part of the webinar, and also for giving their inputs and presenting their keynotes during the observation. And I extend my thanks to all the delegates without whom this webinar would not be complete. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience and also for your sincere feedback. Thank you. We extend our thanks to Karnataka State Dental Council for awarding the webinar with 12 credit points. I thank Dr. Nandlal, Sir, Professor and Head, Pediatric and Preventive Dentistry for giving us feedback. Dr. Ramakant Naik, Sir, Principal, Maratha Mandal Dental College, Belgaum. Dr. Mandav Prasad, Professor and Head, Department of Orthodontics, Narayana Dental College and Hospital, Nellore. Dr. Renuka Amandi, Professor and Head, Department of Oral Medicine and Radiology, Maratha Mandal Dental College, Belgaum, for their valuable feedback. It actually means a lot to us. Thank you. Henry Ford stated, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is a progress. Working together is a success. I always believe in teamwork. I should say, without a young, charming organizing team who stood by us in organizing this webinar is commendable. I would like to take names: Dr. Bhagya, Joint Organizing Secretary, Dr. Chanchala, Dr. Saumya, Dr. Deepa, and the student members, Dr. Dipasha, Dr. Nikita, Dr. Sumak, and Dr. Virish. It's my pleasure to extend my warm, heartfelt thanks to you all. Thank you very much. Without you all, I'm sure this webinar wouldn't have been possible. Thanks for your sincere efforts. Thank you. Special thanks to our own Dr. Sumuk for his extended support and all technical help. His support throughout was much appreciated and admired, Sumuk. And thanks for always being there and always being supportive.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I shall end my talk saying, it's not happiness brings us gratitude. It's always a gratitude that brings happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am. Thank you so much for helping us be in this organization and for everything. Thank you so much. The end of the story is a new beginning for many others. On this note, let's conclude a remarkable, memorable, and a knowledgeable valedictory session. On behalf of the organizing committee, we sincerely thank the dignitaries for being with us for these 3 days and enlightening us with these enthusiastic remarks. I shower my heartfelt gratitude to each and everyone for their wholehearted support rendered in the success of this webinar series, Professional Excellence, Excel Series. Thank you very much. With this note, stay healthy, stay safe. Don't forget to get yourselves vaccinated. Have a wonderful and fun-filled evening. Thank you once again.
Congratulations to all of you again.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. It's very nice.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Congratulations, team. You have done a wonderful job. These 3 days have been very action-packed, power-packed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.